Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Rustic Spirit, or Becoming Enchanted by the Rustic Spirit podcast. I am your host, Stacy Lee.
I'm Gary Lee.
Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I am under the weather. I'm actually kind of sick, but I'm going to do this anyway. I did not want to cancel because I'm very excited about our guest tonight. So before we get started with our guest, let me just see who we have here. Sadie. Hi, Sadie. It's nice to see you. Thank you for all the love you've been giving me lately. I cannot thank you enough for sending that positive energy my way. Barbara, hello. And then we have William Nighthawk. Hi, William. How are you? And we have some others, but those are who are in our comments right now. So as you saw in our intro video, we have, William says, hi, Gary. We had our sponsor, the Doss House. If you guys are into the paranormal and into haunted locations, they are still booking. I think they're booked out. Like they're booking up pretty quickly. So if you want a weekend there to go do some investigating, to look into the history of the place, there's a lot of history. I know the video seems a little spooky, but there is a lot of history, and that's why we do what we do when we do investigating, is to give a voice to those from history. So as we start talking about that, I just want to give you guys a little heads up. Like, we are the Rustic Spirit podcast. It's now called Becoming Enchanted, or Be with the Rustic Spirit podcast. Stacy Lee and Gary, we are your hosts. You can find us either live on Thursdays on Facebook or YouTube. We are streaming on both right now. And then we are also on Spotify and iHeartRadio. And I believe we're now on Amazon Music. So you can find us on there. If you cannot catch a live episode, you can always catch it later on one of your favorite platforms. And then a little self-promoting. I'm still doing virtual video readings. These are very impersonal readings. If you don't like to do face-to-face, I will do a virtual video reading. You send me your question or what you want to know about, and I will pull some cards. I will record a video, and I will send it to your inbox. That is only $25 if you guys are interested in that. Turnaround time is 48 hours. And then we are still introducing our Spirit Flames by the Rustic Spirit. It's our 100% soy-based intention candles. Let me just tell you, we did an event last weekend and I sold out of most of them. So we have to make some more candles.
Oh, we do.
We do. We have the protection candles are gone. Sorry, the puppies in the background playing with a squeaky toy. So just ignore that. So we have some more. We have a lot of different ideas coming up, a lot of different intentions that we're trying to figure out. So keep an eye out for those. And the next event we're at, you might see them there. And then we are also doing an investigation with Jotniks. We are doing, a partner investigation with Jotniks Paranormal at Booby's Brewery on May 17th. It is actually Gary's birthday weekend. Our paranormal team is actually called Land and Legend. We do focus more on Bigfoot and cryptids and elemental type energies, but we also do some investigating of locations and spirits. So please come out and see us. And then again, the Doll's House is one of our sponsors, and I forgot to take the slide out. This is no longer, because this is this weekend. This is done. This is sold out. But the Doll's House is a cozy place to investigate this winter. It has heat and working bathroom. A lot of places do not. So those of you who like to investigate different locations and are like, it's winter, I am not going to go out. They actually have heat and warmth. And so does Booby's Brewery, by the way. So, and Creep It, they are doing a Creep It Real Festival. They are looking for vendors and authors and anybody that is willing to come set up a booth. It is a small town trying to bring some awareness to the history of the town. It's in Loretto, Pennsylvania. That is outside of Strongstown, in between Strongstown, like Altoona and Johnstown. There we go. Altoona and Johnstown. I had to think about that. You can send applications to the Doll's House 278. If you go on my Facebook page, I actually just posted an application today. Like I said, I'm sick. All this talking is going to get to me. Another one of our sponsors is the Maine Paranormal and Horror Con. This is happening September 6th and 7th on this year at Augusta, Maine, at the Augusta Civic Center. It is lining up to be a very cool event. They have lots of different horror stars, but also paranormal. So definitely come and check them out. And then this is another one of our sponsors, Rigsby's Bullies in Strongstown, PA. There is no more puppies available this year. They are going to have some next year. I do believe that if you would like a Frenchie, because they had one of the most wonderful Frenchies, it is going to be by reservation only. So please contact them if you're interested. And our last sponsor is M2D2 Radio. They are calling all business owners to advertise on the #1 internet radio station. They are heard globally on iHeart, Live 365, Alexa, and Apple Music. They have a great deal going on right now for winter, so please contact them if you go to M2. Oh, I can't talk. See, I told you, because I'm sick. And my nose is running, and I'm like, need a tissue. Contact them at m2d2radio.com. Oh my goodness. So tonight we have a wonderful guest. I've never actually personally met her. I know her. I was introduced through another person that I do know. And when she sent me her bio, I was fascinated. I am a sound healer and a Reiki master, but she seems to take it one step ahead, a level ahead. And I want to find out what this is called. I mean, what this is about, because she does Certified Acutonics Sound Healer. She's an author, astrologer, and musician as well. Her work is dedicated to illuminating the connection between heaven, earth, and humanity, and the power of vibration as the root of all healing. And that is where my healing, that is where I feel like my healing comes from. So I'm so excited just to pick her brain and talk about some of these things. So without further ado, I could do a whole introduction about her stuff, but I would like her to introduce herself. I am going to bring on stage, on camera, Jennifer
Gehl.
Jennifer, I was going to say, I was about to say the last name, and I'm like, I don't want to do it wrong.
It's easy to get wrong, but it's actually easy to pronounce. You pronounce it like it's Gale or Gail. Anyway.
Okay. I was going to
Yeah.
say Gehl. So that's why I was like, I don't think that's right. So
I figured I'd just jump in and help you out
You were
because
perfect.
most people do not get it right the first time.
You've done this
Thank you for
before.
having me.
So first, let me give you a second to just, I gave you a quick intro. Is there anything else you want to say about yourself? And just tell us a little bit about who you are and your journey, like to where you got, how you got here as a healer.
Well, it's been a long journey, one of, kind of a zigzagged approach to my profession. I've learned from a lot of different people, and I am certainly not an expert on sound healing, but I have a very firm, strong, and deep belief in the power of vibration to heal us. And most of it has to do with the microcosm to macrocosm relationship. It's what I talk about all the time. I mean, unity consciousness is what we are evolving into, but we live it every day. We just don't know it. And by that, what I mean is that the vibration we hold, embody, and carry, we radiate. And so, we have been indoctrinated for so long in the idea that to heal someone, we are doing something to them. And my whole journey, and when you see my astrology chart, you'll understand why. I have a lot of Scorpio, which of course is transformation, healing, turning sickness into wellness, death into, I've had a lot of death and rebirths in my own life. So I feel like I've lived about 25 to 30 different lifetimes. But my point is
I feel you there. Yes.
Yeah. My point is that the Scorpio stellium or placement is in the first house. It's all about the self. And that sounds selfish, but what my journey has shown me is that it's not selfish. We are the macrocosm in miniature. We are the great I am in miniature. And the more that we practice that vibration, practice that consciousness, and hold that vibration and intention, we instantly, automatically reverberate and make that energy available to our universe and the universes beyond. So it is quantum, but it's so simple. I mean, it's all about becoming masters ourselves, mastering our own energy, managing it. And I've had to learn the hard way so many times, but that seems to be the Scorpio way, because it's polarities, and we experience these extreme polarities. So
And is
my
that
journey
typical for Scorpio? I don't have any Scorpio on my chart. I might have one aspect of Scorpio, but I don't have any Scorpio. Is that typical of these polarities?
Well, but see, there are different philosophies, obviously, but I don't believe that an empty house is really empty. So wherever Scorpio is in your chart, you go to where Mars and Pluto are. But I personally also assign Sedna as the planet that rules the third symbol of Scorpio, the eagle. We always hear about the scorpion and the phoenix.
Okay.
But we forget that Scorpio has a third symbol, the eagle. And I feel that that is what represents our true evolutionary purpose, to see what's going on in the minutia, the eagle eye, but also to be able to then glide with effortless ease when you find the current and the vibration of source energy. That's how I look at it. And
that's
the
amazing.
planet,
I literally have chills because I'm a shamanic practitioner, and that's when I did my journey, my first journey. The eagle came to me as my guide and came into me
Wow.
and flew into my stomach, and that's where my guide nests, and that's what I call forth. That's just amazing. I didn't know that was another I guess guide of Scorpio.
Really? So it is
My
fascinating that,
Scorpio
I
is
mean,
in my Venus in my
I have
chart.
Venus
You can
in
look it up.
Scorpio also. Okay. Do you know what house Venus in Scorpio is?
Hold on. Got to do the old lady thing here. I look at these charts and I try to figure them out, and I'm still working on like some of that basic astrology piece. So the
Well,
symbol
we can,
for Scorpio is the six. No, that's six. That's Cancer. The six
it
and the
looks like
nine.
Virgo, but it looks like Virgo, but instead of the basket, it's got the hook.
The hook. So it's
Mhm.
not the arrow going out, but the in, right?
No, it's the arrow.
Okay, the
It
arrow
should.
going out. Okay, so that looks like fifth house.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, fifth house is about joy, the inner child, children or the inner child, the heart center, your
Mm-hmm.
creative energy, your self-expression. That's a strong will too. Scorpio is known for its iron will. It's gotta have an iron will to go through so much fire, right? The alchemical fire of Pluto. But just what I was thinking, I wanted to go back for a second to the third symbol,
Yeah.
Scorpio,
Yes.
because my second book, the book on Sedna, when you understand or read about the Sedna mythology and astrology, to me, I mean, it's all about death and rebirth, but it's also about deception, and ultimately discovering. It's very shamanic, so you will love it, Stacy.
Okay.
But the point is that the real power is in connecting to the infinite creator. That's where the real power comes from. Scorpio is all about right use of power, but Sedna connects us to water. I feel like Pluto is the alchemical fire. It's like baptism by fire. It burns up
Mm.
everything and annihilates everything that the ego is too attached to, so that the soul can shine through with more purity. With Sedna, it's more practicing that fluidity, being literally allowing rather than surrendering. Like Pluto makes you surrender. You can't say no to Pluto, whatever it confronts you with. You just have to surrender to the death process. But with Sedna, it's more of a conscious exercise or a conscious shamanic journey. Does that make sense?
It does. It
So
actually
I
does.
feel
To me,
like
it does
one is
make
fire,
sense. Yeah.
one is water, and what? I'm sorry. Go ahead. What?
No, I said it does. To me, it makes sense. And see, like in some of my work, like even looking at those two with like the fire and the water puts out fire. So
Yeah.
is that a balancer? Is that what we're talking
Yeah.
about? Kind of like that balancer thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's I think it's amazing. Like even tonight, like what's happening tonight. It's the new moon, and this is a
Mhm.
very alchemical new moon in Pisces. It's probably the strongest new moon of the year. And like, so I've been reaching out to everybody today, like manifest, like let's
Mhm.
do this. Let's bring forth let's plant the seeds that we want to for the year. Um, and
Yeah.
it fascinates me. I would love to learn more about astrology, but then I get into it, and it's so overwhelming to me. There's so much to learn.
Well, yeah, I know. It's overwhelming to learn. It's overwhelming to teach. I love it so much. I'm not a formally taught
Mm-hmm.
astrologer, but
Scorpio.
since I
You're
was,
getting ready to
yeah,
say
right.
Scorpio again.
Everything I learned organically. But
Mm-hmm.
since I was about 13, I've been interested in astrology, and that's how I discovered who I really am. I mean, Scorpio is all about authenticity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I began to, I just found this book at the age of 13 on Scorpio, and I began to read about the placement of the planets, their placement at the time that I was born. And I was hooked because
Mm-hmm.
I felt out of place. I felt uncomfortable in my own skin everywhere I went, until I began to understand who I was through the language of astrology. So I've been studying it for a very long time. I feel like I do have an affinity for the language. It's very symbolic. It's very spiritual and intuitive, even though it's also scientific.
And I'm a tarot reader, so I study the tarot. So it's very connected to the tarot.
Very.
I think that's what got me into astrology was doing tarot. So it is very connected. I think I'm with you there. I was very much a not comfortable with my body, same thing, and not understanding some of the aspects of myself because I'm a Virgo. And I don't always emulate Virgo. I'm not, there are certain aspects of my life that are very Virgo energy, but once I learned my chart and had that first reading and realized that my moon is in Pisces, and my rising sign is Cancer, I was like, oh, it now all makes sense, but then going into the intricacies of the houses, I've never really done too much of that.
So rising sign Cancer means that the moon rules your chart, which makes you even more sensitive to your surroundings, psychically aware, and emotionally and intuitively feeling that vibe of the tribe, the vibe of the people around you, whatever room you walk in.
The moon is my thing. The moon is my thing. You see my symbol, everything, like that is my thing, like that is, I feel like she guides me, so maybe that's that Cancer. Yeah.
Makes sense. So this Pisces new moon is interesting because I just did, I have a modest YouTube channel and I do the new moons and full moons, but I just did the video on the Pisces new moon and it felt to me, see if you feel this way or what you think, but it felt to me to be a portal to our own creative imagination, a portal to the spiritual canvas upon which we can dream, write, speak, whatever our creative energy is, and imprint that canvas, the infinite potential. That's why empty in my, I just want to say this. In my first book, Planetary Signatures, there's a subtitle in one of the chapters that says empty space matters. And it's because there is no such thing as empty space. I mean, empty space isn't really empty. It's full of potential. So it's about imprinting with our conscious intention and conscious creativity so that we can overwrite the past. We can't really relive. We certainly don't want to relive the past. We don't want the past to define who we are. And, we want to be able to have every day be a fresh day, a brand new start. And that's the high vibe of Pisces for sure.
I feel that too.
Virgo makes it practical.
Yeah, I felt the same thing. Like this morning I woke up and I'm always very aware of new moons and full moons. And I know what's, that this is like my time to plant seeds and plant my intentions and manifest. And, but I woke up this morning and got my coffee and then I get on my Facebook and instantly the first thing came up was this video of another astrologer that does a lot of like TikTok, like short videos. And she's talking about this new moon and talking about like what to do and how to create a ritual around it. And it felt very powerful to me. So I felt like I shared it with a couple friends and said, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. And she's like, pick 3 things that you want to manifest and put 3 items that would represent what you want to manifest. Talk to those items, set them up in a triangle, leave them there for the next 2 weeks until the full moon in Virgo. And then I'm like, Pisces, Virgo, Pisces. I'm like, I'm both. Like, so I felt this was very powerful for me.
Yeah.
And I've been sick. I've actually been in bed all day. I didn't get out of bed until 5 o'clock when my husband got home because I have been sick.
I had it
You know,
too. I feel
yeah,
you.
it is. It's rough. So I just spent all day in
Yeah.
bed, and
Especially in the voice, like, yeah.
mhm. And it was, but it was very powerful. Spending all day in bed. It was very, and it was. I was actually watching
Yeah.
a show. Have you ever called? Like I said, binge watch when you're sick. You binge watch shows. Have you ever heard of Discovery of Witches? It's on Netflix.
I don't get Netflix and no, so
Okay.
I'm
Well,
not familiar with
they
it.
were books first. They were books
Okay.
first. They're just called these books called Discovery Witches. They are fiction, but they have a lot of kind of what we are on our train of thought about a lot of alchemical processes. And so
Hmm.
watching that and then doing this, and I had a lot of like I went into deep meditation and I'm meditating and I'm like and I just literally just got the message from spirit like everything you've been through is on purpose. Like,
Yeah.
instead of feeling letting the ego be like, oh, poor me, and being the victim of it, realizing that this is just my path. And it was a path that has been guided for me that I'm supposed to
Yes.
do. And I even made a Facebook post about it. So I felt like this has been the most healing new moon I have ever experienced in
That's
my personal.
wonderful.
A
That's
lot of
really
energy.
wonderful.
And I also wonder if that's why I'm sick, because it's like it almost lined up to me being sick during this
Yeah.
time. So all I had to do was lay in bed, meditate, do my thing. Um, and so
Right.
I just felt it was very purposeful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's allowing the toxicity to leave, wherever it came from an old mindset or old patterns, all the things that, or the journey and how your perspective on your journey. And when I say you, I mean all of us. When we're, the body is usually the last place. I mean, it's the slowest, densest vibration. So
Hmm.
illness has to come through the body. And I mean, I don't want to say that, what the body is all, the body doesn't lie, basically. So when you're willing to consciously understand what it is that your body is processing, I think we can relinquish illness a lot faster or allow it to pass through us a lot faster. When we understand the emotional and spiritual root of the physical symptoms, then it becomes easier
And
to heal.
it's so much a mind, body, spirit, and that's the
Yeah.
people don't think it's just I'm sick and I have no control over it, but we actually do. Like, I have
Yes,
a
we
actually a
do.
degree in psychology, and health psychology was I had to take a whole semester on health psychology and learn that our brain does have a lot of control over our sickness, and
Yeah.
how sick we are. You see a lot of people that they're living just fine, everything's fine, and then they go to the doctor and incidentally find something, and then
Yeah.
go downhill. Because once you know you have it, then your mind takes you there, to that place,
Right.
a vibration.
I
It
know.
vibrates. Going back to that language of vibration, it'll vibrate on the energy of sickness, and then
Yeah.
go into that state, that
Well,
ego
and
state.
it's also, I mean, even as the and I'm not a, well, I'll just spit it out. Even the Bible says, as one thinketh, so he is, or so she is. And
Yeah.
if we think and believe that we're not going to heal from whatever this illness is,
Hmm.
um, then we do challenge ourselves. We make it more challenging for ourselves to heal. There has to be hope and optimism. There has to be, um, and that I saw in this Pisces new moon too, because
Yes.
it's all that Pisces energy, and with the North Node there, it's positive. It's where we're
Mhm.
heading. I feel like, well, what was I going to say? So Pisces is, again, the infinite potential, but it's the invisible realm. So it's what's
Mhm.
been hidden. We don't. we can't see love, but we know love exists. We can't measure the wind, but we see its effects. We know it has huge impact on our physical environment. And yet we don't give enough weight or credence to our faith, our hope, our beliefs, the things that we can't see, but that are the environment in which our cells either flourish or diminish. You know, our cells are either regenerating in a positive environment or they're shrinking and, you know, contracting, and our body then contracts and we feel, you know,
it's that trust. It's that the trust in I guess trust in self, trust in the divine plan of it all. And I like what you said, like, you know, obviously I am very universal type religion right now, Unitarian, I guess you would say. I grew up Catholic, so that is my background. You know, and I know the Bible. I had to study it all. I've been through all the sacraments. But it's true. Like, even in the Bible, it says this. Like, even in the Bible, it says, "Ask and I shall receive." You know, like, it is that power.
And the body is fearfully and wonderfully made. The body is fearfully and wonderfully made. So we, you know, our at the micro level, our organisms, our organs, our cells know how to heal even better than our mind does. You know, it's our mind that we've had to unravel. We've had to re-educate our way of thinking because we've just been, you know, we have been poisoned with information that is simply not true. You know, to put it simply, just not true, especially when it comes to healing.
And that's what I want to ask. Like, what are your thoughts? Like, how did we get here? Like, I'm very much a believer in Lost City of Atlantis, Lemuria, those civilizations that were utopian type civilizations. How did we get here? What is your theory on how we got here and into this?
So what I feel is that, it is, but it is a really valid question, a really important question. And I think that overall our global consciousness is getting to the point, or is at the point, where we're ready to embrace how, you know, the span of our history and how we actually got here. The way that I put it, because maybe it's because I'm a Scorpio, but I feel like we are witnessing the acting out of the collective shadow. And it's been revealed and expressed like the elephant in the room, and yet some people are still not seeing the crimes against humanity, crimes against sentient beings, crimes against Gaia, Mother Earth, a living organism.
Yeah.
And we're so busy pulling ourselves apart and making it a left-right thing, or a masculine feminine thing. You know, we've been indoctrinated in division, divisiveness. So anyway, getting back to the ancient civilizations, what I feel, you know, in terms of the off-world civilizations, just like we have people who channel the light and work with the light, and people who channel the dark, consciously bring in the dark and work with the dark forces. There are off-world civilizations who do the same thing. And we, as Lemurians, I believe we were living in harmony with the earth. We knew exactly what it felt like to be in harmony with nature, to be in harmony with every living being.
All over.
Yeah. And then, I mean, this is my opinion, but during the Atlantean days, we got too hooked into AI, science, and that became, rather than serving humanity,
Okay.
serving the sentient organism, it overpowered. It made us do the bidding for AI. And so everything, and now I'm getting goosebumps, but everything we have
No, I feel
been,
like we're heading back there. I feel like we are like reliving the
yeah,
Atlantean. Yes.
we are,
Yeah.
well, AI is here, and yes, it's going to be, this is the lesson we have to absolutely get straight, or it's going to come back around. This is why health is so important too in the whole Virgo Pisces axis, because Virgo is the body, mind, spirit union. And yet, where was I going with it? Oh, what did I want to say about this? Sorry, I just lost my train of thought.
That's okay. And my teenage
Oh,
daughter just came down and my dog went crazy. So I'm muting my mic real quick.
it comes down to AI, and the fact that, especially when it comes to health, we do not need synthetics. We do not need, we do not need all this toxic medicine to
We don't.
improve our immune system and our health. We are made by the Creator, who,
There's even a
the
verse in the Bible somewhere that, like, everything we need is right here on earth. Like
exactly. Yes,
everything we need to
yes.
heal.
The plants are here, but there has been a very long history of a very, I'm just going to say it, the reptilians, the very bad and
Reptilians.
dark off-world civilization that infiltrated every government leadership around the world. Now, this is turning around, thank God. We are on the right trajectory.
This
But
is my husband's area. So actually, I just muted earlier while you were talking. I was like, you need to ask her about the reptilians. Ask her about this, because this is his area. Like, she feels like the reptilians. Did you hear what she said? Like infiltrating our society and coming in and
that's
like
what they say.
Creating. Like, what do you think about that? Like,
I don't know. I have different thoughts.
Okay. Do you have a question? I mean, like, I try to get him to talk more on this.
No. No, but like that stuff crosses my mind, Yeah.
well, I know this is going to sound so bizarre, maybe not to your audience, but
Not to
to
us.
any other. I know it's got to sound just so, tinfoil out there, bizarro, but when you just look at look at the varied species under the ocean, we don't even know we don't understand a fraction of the life that lives within our ocean. And to me, that mirrors the cosmos. Think of how many, I mean, and honestly, when I grew up, I'd come from school and I'd watch Star Trek, and I remember how many different beings they'd meet in their journey. The fact is that the Creator is infinite. So obviously, the Creator creates infinite types of life forms.
Yes.
Unfortunately, unconditional love means I give you the choice to experience yourself through love, or experience yourself through the separation of, from me, from love, light, whatever, consciousness, wisdom. And some beings chose to do that. And getting back to your original question, Atlantis, Lemuria, Atlantis, and then how did we get here? I believe that we allowed ourselves to be outsmarted by an off-world civilization that, put science and technology above sentient, organic life. That's my opinion. And that destroyed that civilization. Instead of being in balance with the elements in nature, we I guess we lost the right to be stewards, or we took it to an extreme, and Earth revolted and said, you know, can't have this. So, I mean, Earth is
I
always going
agree.
to survive. We're the ones who may not evolve with Earth if we don't get our act together and become
And,
the
and I've
stewards
been having
we
this
are intended.
conversation with a friend of mine who usually is on the podcast. I'm actually going to tag him right now. And but we've been having this conversation how Gaia, Mother Earth, like is calling out, and it is fighting back. We're
Yes.
having, like, him and I have been having dreams of earthquakes and tsunamis and these things that are happening. And it's happened here before in our history. Like,
Yes.
we have seen that we have the great floods, and we have had, like, regardless of what religion you follow, it's in there. So we've had these great floods and we've had these great things, but she's fighting back right now. And I mean, is she fighting against AI? Is that what she's fighting against? Is she fighting against this alternative technology?
That's a question. I mean, I think it's a tough question, but subjectively, I mean, my opinion is yes, but there has to be balance. And I'm thinking too of Sedna and
Mm-hmm.
what was revealed to me as I wrote that book, and getting to know the energy of Sedna through that process. And Sedna is all about dealing with cataclysmic energy or events on the planet at the global level. But the promise with Sedna is that when we clean up the waters within us, our emotional center. See, that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing. That's the thing. As human beings, it's our emotions that set us apart from AI. And when we become more masterful, excuse me, more masterful in feeling and expressing in a healthy way the full range of human emotions, instead of stuffing, repressing, buying into the old doctrine, you can't show anger, you can't do this, you can't do that, it's not appropriate, blah, blah, blah. You can't be human. You just have to be a robot, do what we say. Follow this program.
And,
Follow this program.
we've come
You
into this.
program,
Yes.
you program robots. So I
I
feel
am
like
not that being. I'm a very vulnerable, and maybe this is my, um, Pisces. I am very emotional. Maybe it's more my cancer actually, probably very emotional creature. Lots of it. It's like overwhelmingly sometimes emotional creature. Like, and some people just don't understand that. They don't understand how
right.
that emotion can go. And I'm wondering, like, I like what you said about being programmed, like almost programmed into being robots.
You shouldn't feel that way. That's a program.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you feel that way, you need to change that. You can't express how you feel. You can't. And that is robotic. That's expecting humans to, I don't know, to respond in more of in a programmed sort of way. And that's, I feel like we
Actually, it's a
are.
fellow Virgo with me, with a Pisces moon. We actually have the
What's
same
that?
exact birth date. Ashley and I, we have the same. We are born almost the exact same time. Um, and she just said we are not robots, because some of us, like, and I don't think she's saying we are robots, but the world or alternative forces sometimes try to program us into being robots, and
Well,
we get
make no
caught up. Ashley
mistake.
is not. She's open to emotions like I am. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And our connection to water is important for that reason, because I do feel that we have been brainwashed. And I mean, we were studied for a really long time by these
Mhm.
scientists And when you devolve your civilization to the point where you cannot actually feel any empathy or compassion for another creature, how are you going to behave? I mean, you're going to behave like a barbaric, like what we're about to learn on a massive scale was going on right beneath our noses is going to make the Holocaust after World War II look like child's play.
So I even feel like I have another friend who is into a lot of the star beings and alien, like he's an alien alientologist. So he talks about this stuff and he knows what's coming. He's had messengers. He's actually been so-called abducted, but they come to him.
Yeah.
So I'm refraining here because of the fact that, but I think you feel it too. You know what's coming. And like, we've been giving, like, I feel like I've been giving warnings, but very like small, little tiny warnings, like hints. When does it come to the fact that we need to come out and give an all out warning to people? Like, beware, be prepared.
I don't think that I don't think it's even necessary. I think we need to focus on ourselves, keep evolving, keep, radiating all the high vibration we can, all the love, light, wisdom that we can get, activate, align with, and embody and practice that presence. That's honestly, I think that's the best that we can do, because nobody is going to change because of something they hear from someone else, even no matter how much they respect them. Change can only happen organically. It has to happen from inside that person when they finally see the light, when they finally have that epiphany. We can, I don't know. Experience, in my experience is the only teacher.
It's
People
true.
have to experience it. So
and everybody like I obviously, you probably figured out I'm in the paranormal world. I do a lot of paranormal events, and sometimes that's not taken seriously, but it's fun and people like to come out to it. But my friend Tom, he is the teller of truth, so he calls himself. His name is Tom Conwell. And I've had a conversation with him lately. And of course, as I'm talking to you about this, his page is not wanting to load. And it's very weird. So there's been a lot of like talk about, what you see, like they're coming is what he keeps saying, but they're not what you think they are. And it's talking about more about this divine light and radiation of love and light. And we've been talking how that connects to our inner purpose as souls, as beings, to spread love and light. And I do think that so-called Hollywood alien culture has been kind of outplayed, but there is something there with that. There is something deeper.
Well, and I think many of us on the planet are what I call starseed mutts. We came from many different, what I call them civilizations, but that's not the right term. Star systems, whether it's Andromedan, Arcturian, Sirian, Lyran, Pleiadian, of course, and there are so many others. But I think that we are all a mixture, and it's in our DNA. And
I do feel it. Do you feel like there's like you mentioned a lot of different star seeds, and I've like that's something him and I study and talk about a lot. And I don't know if this might be the first time a lot of my followers and people who watch me are really kind of get into this star seed conversation that they don't know that. I don't know if they know this about me. But I've been wondering, like, is there a way like him and I have discussed it, like what we think. And he's called me a reptilian multiple times, and I don't want to be a reptilian, but is there a way to kind of figure out what is your, like, what starseed do you come from? Like, there's tests on the internet and all this stuff. Like, people will play with that stuff. Do you feel like you know?
Starseed we don't know about.
Again, I don't feel like I come from. I don't feel like I come from just one.
Okay.
Now, in my last incarnation, I mean, I feel like I did incarnate from. I do feel like I'm definitely a star seed. I feel like I came here with a mission, along with so many other souls, to anchor in light, so that this world, so that Earth could make this journey from 3D into 5D and beyond, to evolve. Absolutely. Yeah. But I mean, I resonate with the Andromedans. I resonate with the Arcturians. I feel like it was the Arcturians that helped me literally channel information that came through on planetary signatures. And I had, I got to tell you, I will share this because I think you and your audience will appreciate this. When I had made the decision and been approved after I'd written the proposal and was approved by Inner Traditions to write planetary signatures in medicine, I had a really interesting experience. I was at a colleague's house, and I woke up in the early hours, like I want to say 5 a.m. Anyway, I was lying on my side, and I felt a presence in the room. I knew exactly where it was. It was a lucid dream. I felt a presence behind me. And then I felt my spine begin to vibrate. And it was cold at first, and then as my spine was vibrating, it got warmer, and then I started to levitate in my lucid state. But I knew I was lifting off the bed, and I saw this blue laser beam come right here to a point on my chest. And in my head, I'm thinking, that's spirit storehouse. It's an acupuncture point. And then,
was that
I think it was a
gallbladder area.
What's that?
Was it your gallbladder area? Is that where it went to, or
no? Right here. There are kidney points on the chest area, the breastplate.
Okay, I couldn't see you where you were pointing to. Okay.
Yeah, I know. But I'm in my mind, I'm thinking that's spirit storehouse. It's like it was releasing information, the storehouse, the Akashic records, whatever. Anyway, this is all happening. It's like happening at the same time, and I'm levitating, but I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm going to lift off. And at that moment, I felt this tug on my right ankle, and I was back in bed. So, and I've had a lot of other interesting visitations from star beings.
I'm holding on to the tug on your. Sorry, I'm holding on to the tug on your right ankle. So our right side is like our masculine, our receiving, our get. So do you feel like, or a giving side, but do you feel like the tug on your right ankle was something purposefully, or is that like the vibration of that?
My right side, I mean, the way I interpreted it, and I could be wrong, I don't know. I had been lying on my right side, so that ankle was closest to the bed, the mattress.
Oh, okay. That's connecting why you maybe to back to Earth. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And the blue laser was on the left side of what's that? Sorry.
I said, now you're probably going to think on that, aren't you? Like the meaning of the right and the left side. But anyway.
Well, there's a lot to it. I mean, left and right side, I believe in all of that. And I think that, we talked about fire and water, masculine, uniting opposition in harmony is what I feel our mission is at this point, especially with what's going on, geopolitically and around the world. We have to focus on who we are as human beings. Human.
Yes.
Humanity. And
Humanity. Yes.
yeah.
And I our divine purpose is to love. That is my
Exactly.
belief. Our divine purpose is to love. We did
Yeah.
not come into this world. Yes, we do have hedonistic natures, but that's our animalistic natures
Right.
of feeding, eating, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I'm sure you've heard of that before, right?
Yes.
With, you know, our we have to get our bottom rungs filled, and that's where hedonistic comes in. Like, we need to eat, we need to feel safe, we need to feel secure, and you know, we need to make sure that's okay, and then we can ascend. But you know, we are divine beings meant to love. That is all we're meant to do, and not judge and hate and fight. And it has literally been tearing me apart. I've taken multiple social media breaks recently because every time I go in there, somebody's fighting with somebody else, and it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
why I'm so affected by it.
Why you're so what? Oh, affected
Why
by
I'm
it?
so affected. Yeah, with the
Because your
fighting
moon's
and
in
the
Pisces.
conflict.
Because your moon is in Pisces, sun's in Virgo, and so you've got that polar axis going on. But moon in Pisces, my gosh, that's like your emotional body, your emotional nature is the sponge. You take it all in, but
We absorb.
you absorb, and that's why, you know, and it will come through your body with your sun in Virgo. So always just making sure that anything you pick up washes through you, that it doesn't stick. And that's why it's so important for every single individual to work on their own triggers, you know, understand where you've come from, your previous soul cycle, which is the south node, where you're heading for greater soul fulfillment in this lifetime, which is the north node.
The north node.
And that's uncharted territory. It's not easy to get there, but and it's not that we ever have to abandon the talents and gifts that we naturally and you know brought in with that south node, but getting stuck
Now, is
there.
Chiron the south node? Is that Chiron the south node, or is that something different?
I think it's Chiron. I think you mean
Chiron.
Chiron.
Yeah,
Chiron,
Chiron.
the
Okay.
wounded healer. But
Okay.
that is not the south node. The south node isn't a planet or asteroid. It's the nodes of the moon. And one looks like an upside down horseshoe, and it's the dragon's tail and the dragon's head.
Okay.
So those are destiny points, and they will tell the person a lot about you know what their and any challenges to the south node also give a lot of information as to what their rite of passage is. What initiation are they going to have to go through in order to get to the other side, the north node? Does that make sense?
It does, and it does to an extent. Again, astrology is so complex. You know, I love how I love how you're explaining, like, the north node is where we're heading. Let me explain how I explain it. North node is where we're heading, is our future, where we want to go. The south node is where we've been. Is that kind of that's kind of what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Sadie wants to know, do you read charts for people?
Oh yeah. Yes, I do.
So
I love to read charts.
if people want to read charts, how do they reach out to you? Do you have a website, or I'm looking at the email again to see what's in there.
Yeah. My website is probably the best place, and it's Soundworks by Gehl, GEHL.com.
Yep. Got it. I am going to share it now into the chat. And when I share it in the chat on StreamYard, it doesn't go on my Stacy Lee page, but it goes on my other pages. So Sadie, if you're looking for it, I don't know what page you're watching from, but I just shared it to the Rustic Spirit page. I would love, I'm probably going to book a session with you because I would love for have you to read my chart as well. Because I do feel like astrology so much explains us.
Well, thank you. And I was thinking that maybe we should do a little trade, because I haven't done a reading for myself in a really long time. I mean, I used to do readings a lot, but lately I've kind of been in the mindset that it's up to me. I mean, I have the answers. I don't want to rely too much on someone else. And
he's laughing because he's like, where is Virgo in your chart?
Okay.
That sounds like a very Virgo thing.
What I think that may be more of is my moon in the 9th house, because the 9th house has a Sagittarian flavor. They have faith in themselves, you know, and that's my. It's hard to tell a Sagittarius. It's hard to teach them anything because they know a lot. And my moon in the 9th house, I admit, is very much like that. I'm stubborn too. I'm stubborn.
My moon is in the 9th house too, by the way.
Okay, well.
Yeah. It's right on the cusp. It's right by my true node. It's like it literally, I don't know if you can see this. I have my chart up right now.
My moon is conjunct my north node. I can't see that, but no, we should definitely get together and chat some more.
Yeah. I would love to.
Okay. Sounds good.
So if people want to reach out and they want to have a reading, they go to your website. I did put it up. It's Soundworks by Gehl, right?
Yes.
I said it right this time?
Yes.
Soundworksbygehl.com. That's the easiest way for them to reach out to you. Before we end, there is the sound healing piece, because I'm a sound healer as well. I use it with my Reiki. What is, how do you say it again?
It's acutonics. Acu for acupuncture, tonics for the tones. And I was certified in acutonics, and the tuning forks that I use, low, medium, and then high frequency, are all from the acutonic system. And I love acutonics. I call my work astrosonics only because I use astrology as part of the treatment protocol. You know, I do astrology readings, and I look at what's in disharmony and what may be contributing astrologically, because these tuning forks are planetary frequencies. And that's so, you know, my story is I was a musician first, you know, started out as a musician at a young age, then got into astrology, got a degree in music. After that, I looked for ways to combine energy work. I got interested after college in energy healing, you know, healing, touch, Reiki, you name it. And was always looking for a way to combine sound with energy work on the body. That's when I found acutonics. I was working at an acupuncture school and loving acupuncture. I absolutely resonate, and I'm passionate about the way Chinese medicine looks at the body, because it's all about our relationship to 100%. Nature. It's all about organic nature. As above, so below, as within, so without. The planets reside within us, not just out there somewhere. The planetary
chakras, well, there's more than 7 chakras, but like people don't know that. Like you have the main 7 chakras, you have the 7 planets, like it's But
yes, there are a lot of correspondences, and that's what I talk about in planetary signatures in medicine. So yeah, anyway, this is the last thing, if we have time, that I would like to add about the sound thing. Because when I was doing the research and writing the book, of course, I was looking into Pythagoras, the music of the spheres. And in Pythagorean, what Pythagoras taught to his followers, or I should say the Pythagorean theory, is that number in itself is order. That's where cosmos comes from. number in space is geometry. Number in time is music. Number in space-time is astronomy. So, and I forget who said this. Was it Goethe who said that geometry is frozen music? So everything we see in nature, you know, the spin or the spirals in nature, the way growth takes place, plants, it all comes from vibration. Vibration, it's out of vibration that these patterns arise. But the same thing goes for our
they've done
signature.
These scientific experiments on water and salt and all of these things. They've done these scientific experiments where they played music to them and they've created these patterns, and people, they're so disconnected from the patterns and the connection with Earth that I'm getting very passionate about what you're talking right now, because it resonates so well with that.
Yeah, and I mean it was a deeply cathartic process and experience when I wrote that book. And I know I have another book in me. I just haven't been given my marching orders yet, but it'll come, I'm sure. And
I know I have one in me, and it keeps coming right here, and I haven't wrote it yet, but it keeps coming to like right here, and I feel like I'm heading to that. But I feel like this is my way of getting it out. Like I do this podcast, you know, I always have we always have very deep conversations on here. Like sometimes we've had a few podcasts where it's just fun and we're having a good time, but you know, that's also for a purpose. But there's, you know, this is why I do what I do, because I feel like this is my voice to bring these earth energies, to bring this connection, because it's so intertwined. It's such a web. And
yes, it is.
We try to pull the strings of the web instead of looking at the whole web.
It's the invisible unity grid that we are consciously plugging into now, so that we can unplug from the false
chart reading.
What's that?
I said, Sadie said she just booked a chart reading. Sadie's the one in your area. She's the one earlier that said that she's in your area. So
hi Sadie. Look forward to meeting you.
Amazing. She is amazing. She's an amazing creature. She is learning a lot. She's newer in her journey, but she's an amazing creature. And I love how I call people creatures. But she's in Tyrone, is what she said, and you are in
wonderful. Yeah.
You're in Altoona?
My hometown's Hollidaysburg, but Altoona. So she may know. She probably goes to the Tranquil Dreams where Michelle Bachman's place. Maybe.
Okay, I think she knows Michelle. Did you go to I just was up in Altoona for in September for were you there for the Divine Light? That's not right. I'm trying to think of what it was. Sadie, what was it called we were at? It was a festival. It was at a hotel. And that's where I met Michelle Bachman.
Well, I thought that was Amara Starseeds, and I missed it.
No, it was
Amara Starseeds.
Yes, it might have been.
Okay. I did one of hers, but I haven't done
Lunar Fest.
Yeah.
Michelle is her previous business partner. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yes, it was a cool event. Kind of slow, but it was like, I always feel like when I go to events, I'm there for a reason, and the people I touch are meant to sit at my table. But yes, I think I could talk to you all night long.
Well,
we are going to have more conversations.
If you authentically connect to one person, it can change the world. That's how I feel. So
it's
right.
True. And there is not many people that yes, my audience is very open to different type of things, and they're very curious, and they're very willing to learn things, but there's not many people that are on this star seed journey, is what I call it, like we are. Yeah. And it's so nice to talk to someone who completely understands and doesn't look at me like, what is Lemuria?
I
Like
totally
when I
understand.
said that, you immediately knew what it was. I was like, oh, I didn't have to
Sigh of
explain it.
relief, right? Yeah,
It
I
was.
know.
So
I
I do
know.
appreciate you coming on. Everybody,
Thank you so
please go
much.
check her out. Soundworks and I guess in your website they can get readings. They can also find out your books.
Uh-huh.
Pretty much everything is there. I was looking at it because it's astro. I don't know how to say the word you label it. Astrosonics. Is
Yeah,
that how you?
that's it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, harmonic integration of astrology. Oh God, I love it. It's very deep. She has a YouTube channel. Go check it out. She did talk about tonight's Pisces moon, Pisces new moon, and kind of a little bit of what's going on with that. Check out everything on her website. If you go to her website, you can pretty much find everything. I think Sadie's already booked a reading because she is an overachiever. So of course she did. I love you, Sadie. And any last words for our audience tonight before we end?
I do not have any final word. I think I reached my
just put
capacity.
people
I
on the
think I'm
spot
done.
I just put people on the spot. So I want to just, my last words that I say every single time, which you actually started talking about in the very beginning of this podcast, is it is all about the self. If we can't fill ourselves, we need to fill our cup first. So we cannot pour from an empty cup. Thank you all, everybody that's been here tonight, commenting, watching. I could not do this without you. This show would not exist without the people that are watching. So thank you for being here tonight. And Jennifer, there's an outro that plays. I end the stream. If you want to stick on and say goodbye at the end, you can. But if you need to just get off, that's fine as well. So again, thank you all. And thank you, Jennifer, for being here tonight.
Yeah,
I truly, my heart space to your heart space, connect with you. And I knew we were supposed to meet for a reason. So thank you. Have a wonderful night, everybody.